And it's something that I've been thinking about. We were on the Discord channel. We were talking about what's going to happen in this election that's happening here in 2020. And there was like a back and forth discussion about what if Biden gets elected, he's not going to do anything. One guy says. Another person was saying, of course he's going to do something, or there was just a back and forth about who to elect and everything. And both of them had a point. But for me, the bottom line was that ultimately you have to do for yourself. Like, it doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't. Don't get me wrong. I definitely have political leanings, but it really matters. What really matters is you doing for yourself. And this goes out for everyone. Like, the most important thing you can do is go out of your way to take care of yourself and your family, regardless of civil unrest, regardless of who is elected, regardless of any of that stuff. Like, there's one thing that you have to do, and that's do for yourself. Don't rely on who's in office. Don't rely on a certain administration, not on the judicial branch, not on the Senate, not on the legislative branch, not even on your own people. Like, the people you consider your people. Like, you can't rely on anyone. You can only rely on your own actions. And I was thinking to myself, why do I feel this way? Why do I feel so strongly about that? I'm don't get me wrong, I'm willing to take help from anyone. If the government wants to help out, if I get a stipend from somewhere, or if I get less taxes or more, whatever happens, I'm okay with help. But ultimately, what I feel like is that all of us have to do for ourselves, and that's not just financial, by the way. That's if you're looking for a mate, if you're looking for more stability in your life, like, ultimately you got to do it, and nobody else. It doesn't, like, all the news and crazy stuff going on. I'm not saying to ignore it. It's important to know what's going on and know the facts and double check yourself. Use critical thinking to make decisions on what you're going to do with your life. But ultimately, what I focus on is what stuff that I can change. When I take any kind of actions in my life, those are the things that I focus on. The reason why I feel this way is because growing up in a struggle makes you realize, and I think a lot of immigrants feel this way too, and that's why they do so well here in the U.S., is that they realize nobody is here to help. Nobody is going to come to help you. There's no savior. It's not the government. It's not your quote unquote people. Nobody's here to help you. You got to help yourself. And something magical happens when you help yourself. Other people want to help you. It's a strange thing, but that's how it works. And the thing is, you don't even need that extra help. You're good if you take care of yourself. And that's why I've been emphasizing the need for people to have more than one income. Regardless of who wins in the election, regardless of your conservative or you're a liberal or a Democrat or Republican, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You have to do for yourself and have more than one income. And the thing is, my thinking has totally changed because I can do whatever I want right now. I can move out of the country if I want right now. I can move to Canada and be fine. I can move to the Philippines and be fine. I can do whatever I want and be fine. Once you do for yourself, you don't need the government. You don't need a nation. That's another important thing. Here in the U.S., people are very nationalistic. I don't know if you know that, if you're coming from another country. I get a lot of people watching me from other countries. It doesn't matter. Like, the thing is, if you're doing for yourself, like immigrants do, you're gonna be all right. Ultimately, and the biggest thing you can do is to have multiple streams of income. So the second that we started doing that, like once it started, like don't get me wrong, it was a grind. There's no get rich quick schemes going on. It's been a grind. But now we have like 5 or 6 streams of income, and it really helps you to grow. The way that I think now is different, and because I can pay attention to as much or as little of what's going on as I want, because it doesn't financially doesn't directly affect me, put it to you that way. And if things get out of hand, if something happens where there's a quote unquote civil war or some crazy conspiracy BS going on, I could just leave. I could just get the hell out of here. And it will be no problem at all. So that's what I want to encourage people to do. Like, don't rely on who wins. Don't rely on what kind of laws. I'm not telling you not to vote or anything like that. You should definitely vote. You should definitely get involved. But what I'm saying is the things that we can change is right in your house. And so those are the things that should have the highest precedent in your life. And I'm kind of preaching to the choir because I know a lot of guys already think this way. You got to do for yourself no matter what. A lot of the guys who I talk to, they're already doing for themselves. They already have 6 figures. They already, have properties, have things going for themselves. So I'm talking to people who don't have those things and who are focused on what's going on with the election and what's going on with the civil unrest and all that kind of stuff. Listen, it doesn't matter who's in office. For you. Like, what I'm saying is to whatever's going to directly affect your life depends on you, right? So, and I'm not like, I definitely have issues in the legislative branch, in the judicial branch, in the executive branch. I definitely have issues that I hope go one way or the other. That's going to affect my decision on what things that I do. But ultimately, when you have multiple streams of income, when you have the resources to help you and your family, you can actually help sway the election one way or another, because you can donate to the political party of your choice, or you can be done with the whole thing and just leave, like a lot of expats do. Just get the hell out the country, don't come back. You know what I mean? Why deal with this crap? Why, if you have multiple streams of income, you don't have to deal with it. All right, so let me see. I got a few people watching here. I'm gonna open this up if I get enough people on here on this live stream. I'm gonna open it up. You guys could talk. I'm just gonna leave it on, and it's gonna be a free for all. You can actually talk on here. Everything. You should know it's going live, and people do watch this stuff. So just people really do watch this, and the right person can watch it, and it just go viral. So just watch what you say on here. It is being recorded. Okay, Wei Guggenwei says people forget how much black people were able to accomplish during Jim Crow. Many inventions and even Black Wall Street happened under legalized oppression. Yeah, but you could. So the thing about that is that Black Wall Street was completely annihilated and destroyed. I don't know if you know the whole story behind that, but if you guys didn't know, Black Wall Street was this during Jim Crow. Okay, let's back up. Till Jim Crow was a bunch of laws throughout the U.S. where they actively suppressed black people in particular from getting jobs, from walking into certain restaurants. You couldn't eat at a certain restaurant. You couldn't drink at a certain fountain. You couldn't start businesses. You couldn't. That was Jim Crow. That's a real thing. It's not conspiracy theory. That really happened in this country, in the United States of America. And by the way, it wasn't just black people. I don't know if you knew this, but if you're Asian, but they had several laws against Asians too. You should really do some research on it. The U.S. is founded on a lot of racial things where they have a bias and for a certain group of people, white males who own property in particular. So that's why there's so much civil unrest. That's what's going on is right now. People are pissed off and tired of it. because it's just been, there's just a lot of stuff bubbling up that has happened. Anyway, that was what Jim Crow was. So what Wei Gook and Wei is saying is that during Jim Crow, black people were successful, were inventors, created Black Wall Street. That's true, but Jim Crow also allowed the neighboring white people to come over and wipe out the whole town. I mean, you know what I mean? So that was a thing. Like, they wiped out. They created. There was a genocide. They wiped out a whole town of people, and that wasn't the only one in the U.S. By the way, there were several. It's a very dark history. Very dark. It's very sad. It's very dark. It's ugly. What I take from all of that is that freedom is not given, it's taken. Like, you have to take freedom. Nobody gives you freedom. You got to take it. And you take it by force and reluctantly with violence. So that's how human nature is. That's truly what I believe. And I don't think that, I'm not suggesting people go out in the streets and riot or loot or anything. I think that's stupid. Really stupid. I think the best thing you can do right now in this economy, in this free market, is take complete advantage of it and make multiple streams of income. And let's get back on track here. I think that we can make more progress if we talk about how you can succeed than talking about racial issues. There's definitely racial. You're not gonna get me to back down on that. Like, it's happening, and it's a very sad thing in the U.S. But I just believe that if we do for ourselves by making multiple streams of income, and I'm not just talking about my brothers and sisters out there. I'm not just talking about black people. I'm talking about everyone: white, black, Asian, Filipino, all Americans everywhere. Because there's a gigantic wealth gap happening that's hitting all of us. Whether you are voting for Trump or not, it's hitting you, it's hitting me, it's hitting everyone. The best thing that you can do is make multiple streams of income. Now, what Yuri and I have done is we create content, just like the content you're watching here. This content helps us create an extra stream of revenue because we're able to do several things. Number one, the content itself makes money. On YouTube, it makes money. And then there's other places that do make money, but most of our stuff comes from YouTube as far as revenue sharing and creating content directly. But here's the thing: this isn't the sole method of income we have. What YouTube is really good at is promoting other products and services that you have. That's what you do. So you leverage all of the streams that you do, all the content you create, you leverage that, you use that to send people to products and services and all kinds of other things. That's one way to make income, and it's booming right now, especially if you go on some of the new platforms like TikTok and Instagram and things like that. They're booming right now. So people go there. You control the views. You create content that people can use, and you forward them to some kind of service or product or something like that you want. You have multiple streams. Don't just stop there. Don't just stop with the internet. Go on to try real estate. There's certain things that you can do in real estate. Once you get your credit good, once you're getting good with a bank, you can actually have properties. We've gotten into real estate. We've created courses online, and then we create content like what you're seeing, free content that helps as many people as possible. Those are the main things that we've done to create content, and I'm telling you, it's completely changed my life and my whole perspective on what's possible. And I want to tell as many people as possible because it's something that has worked for me and helped out my family. If you've been following me for years and years, and you followed me to from the beginning of Yuri and I's relationship and how we've been able to succeed as a couple and things, like, I'm telling you, this is a whole nother level that we've reached in our lives, in both of our lives, by the way, because this has also helped This has helped Yuri and her family, and it's helped me and my family. And it's getting so good, it's starting to help our extended family. And I want as many people to know this as possible, because this can change your life, regardless of socio-economic situation, regardless of what nation, country you come from, regardless of race, religion, doesn't matter. This will change your life and the life of your family. Multiple streams of income. We got to do for ourselves. Don't rely on no government. Don't rely on a win from Trump or from Biden. Don't rely on Kamala Harris. Don't rely on Obama. Don't rely on Duterte. Don't rely on no government entity. Rely on your own blood, sweat, and tears. And this is the time to do it. Take advantage of capitalism. Take advantage of the opportunities we do have. We all have it. If you have a phone, you have the opportunity to change your life. Period. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be hard, but you can do it. And I know there's several people who I talk to who are already doing it. You can do it. Multiple streams of income. And it doesn't have to be real estate. It doesn't have to be what we're doing online stuff. You don't have to show your face online, by the way. You can just do pictures. You do some sort of a content, but you don't have to do this. There's other things you can do. When I say multiple streams of income, I'm talking about passive and active income. If you have to, you can be a part of the gig economy and start driving cars, Uber. You can start delivering people's food. You can start whatever you have to do. Multiple streams of income. If you have to have your girlfriend or wife work, whatever you got to do, have more than one level of income. The Last Samurai says, I agree with you, Bruce. Many people get lost in politics expecting that somehow their salvation lies in politics. And don't get me wrong. I don't like Trump at all. Okay. I know that this pisses off a lot of people, but I'm not even going to go into how I feel about him, because it ain't going to be pretty. I'll probably get demonetized. And I know every time I say that, I lose subscribers, and that is fine. That is fine. You can go listen to somebody who's going to spout off all the stuff that you want to hear. Listen, it doesn't matter what I think about politics. The most important thing that you can do wherever you are in this world is make multiple streams of income. Right now. Start now. Big Truck is on my live stream. Let me see if I can. Hey, man, can you hear me out there? Okay, I don't know if you guys can hear him. I cannot hear him, so I'm going to have to do some changes over here. Get Social Butterfly says, what's up? How you doing? I'm trying to set up my... every week I have problems. You know why? Because I switch computers and stuff. Let me see. Just bear with me. I'm going to try to see if I can get some sound. Big Truck, if you can hear me, I'm just doing some changes on my audio so we can hear you. Let me see. Which one is it? I think it's this one. Big Truck. There we go. I can hear you now.
You can hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you. And so can you guys hear on the stream?
Oh, good evening.
How you doing, sir? So
I'm doing great.
This man right here is already living the dream. This man right here travels the world. This man makes a great income. Do you have multiple streams of income?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
Okay, well, first, my main job, I basically make six figures there. Then on top of that, I do YouTubing, obviously, because, I'm about 71,000 subscribers.
Amen.
And I think about, I have 41 million views, getting ready to go to 42.
Awesome.
And then I rent property too. So I have, and I'm here in New York where property values are really high.
Love it.
The thing about it is, as long as you're 100% certain that you can, make sure that you're getting that income, because you never know about, right now with COVID, to make sure that you have renters who are paying you. So far, so good.
Yes. I'm going to go to your site while we're talking here, so you can keep going. I want to promote you as much as possible. I like your attitude, man. Like you and I don't always agree on stuff, but man, what I love about you is you're a doer, man. People who take action, man, those are the people who are going to survive in this economy no matter what happens, you know. And here I am on your site. This is Big Truck Series Review. That's the name, Motorsports. This is the site right here that you guys are looking at. Go check him out. Go subscribe to him. He doesn't need your subscription. This man is already damn near at 100,000 subscriptions, by the way. But this is it right here.
I appreciate everyone I get, though.
Absolutely. He's hilarious. Have him on every week lately, and he's awesome. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe. Here he is right here. Check him out. If you like what I'm saying, you're gonna love what this dude's saying. He's a doer just like me. So this is the channel right here. So what do you talk about on your channel as I'm looking at this? I see some political stuff. I see some cars.
As a YouTuber,
yeah,
I'll say it like this. As a YouTuber, I've basically decided that I basically vlog about anything I could possibly get my hands on, whether it's new electronics, whether it's cars, whether it's vacation vlogs, whether it's like I like to fly. When I fly first class or I fly business class. I like to vlog about that. I like to vlog about politics every now and then. And as you were talking about, yeah, some of my subscribers don't like it, but that's their problem. So, you know, I'm like, we're in a situation where people, you know, if you're an influencer, especially if you have a lot of people who listen to you regularly,
yes,
they don't want you speaking up against their whatever they're interested in. So the thing about it is they act like they have a hissy fit or something. My bottom line is, as a taxpayer, I'm gonna talk about whatever I feel like talking about because I can.
Well,
so if
let me add to that, Big Truck.
Let me just say real quick.
Yeah, no problem.
Before Trump's presidency, I wasn't as negative as I was until he gave me a reason to be negative. So once he showed me how poorly he could run the government, at that point I could say whatever I felt like saying.
Listen, man, I feel the same way, but I'm gonna want to add something to it. People get really mad about what I say or whatever because they don't agree, they disagree with what I'm saying or what Yuri's saying. But the thing is, it's a conversation. This is a conversation. Exactly. Listen, I don't hate you because you like Trump or you're conservative or you're religious. You know, all things that I got plenty of friends who support all those things, and we talk, man. We freaking talk. And if we're gonna remain a country, then we have to talk to one another. It is a conversation. You don't have to agree with me. But the thing is, if we're talking, you might convince me on certain things. And I've had conversations where somebody had such a great argument that I was like, you know, that's a great point. I never saw it that way. Your perspective is golden. But some people, the only way that they know how to respond, because they don't have the brain power or the brain capacity or whatever, or maybe they don't have the emotional stability or maturity to do anything else, that they'll attack me. They attack me personally. They attack my wife. They attack because I'm black, or they attack certain things because they feel like they're going to hurt my feelings. The thing is, I see this as a conversation. If you're not smart enough to keep up with that conversation, you know, you're going to get mad, pissed off, and walk away, cry, or whatever, then that's your problem. But it doesn't have to be like that. It could be a conversation back and forth. You'll make me laugh. You know, you'll make me think about things. And I hope to do the same thing for you. It's a conversation at the end of the day.
Absolutely. You know, I was listening to the radio the other day, and I listened to Dr. Wilmer Leon. He's on Urban View, Sirius XM. Okay. And he was talking with somebody, you know, another PhD or whatever. But they were explaining. She used the term, you know, there's people out there who they call them now social dominators. And the thing about it is they're deciding that they're going to be in your face with whatever their belief system is or whatever it is. And not only are they going to have it, but they're going to be in your face with it. And they're going to basically use it as, how should I say, to intimidate you. Right. Now, me personally, I listen to whatever you would call the other side. I listen to what the other side says. And a lot of times, they have great points. Yeah. What I have a problem with is the cult of personality that we run into, where everybody acts as if they're ready to consume the Kool-Aid. And my thing is, it's like, nah, I think there's a problem with this, and they want to attack you because you say, you think that we shouldn't go in a certain direction or whatever, but they want to dominate you. And my thing is, it's like some people aren't interested in having a conversation. They're just interested in running you down with their belief system, and I'm not having it.
Yeah, I don't. That's one. I used to listen to a lot of talk radio. I used to listen to. There's a few influencers on the right who I would listen to. What turned me off to a lot of them is that they wouldn't check Trump. They wouldn't check him. So I have a real problem with that. I have a real problem. Like if you can't like I like Obama. Okay. There were some things I hated about him. There's some things some policies, decisions that he made. You know, I'm not the hugest fan of ACA. You know, I'm not the hugest fan of it. It didn't go far enough to me. You know, I'm a left-leaning dude. It didn't go far enough for Obamacare. That's what I'm talking about. It didn't go far enough.
I'm not sure.
But
let me just stop you right there. I don't know if we had this conversation before.
Yeah.
But ultimately, and I won't say even my opinion. Actually, I'll say ultimately the fact of the matter was Obamacare was not constitutional. And my thing is, a lot of people, they want what they want when they want it. But
right.
what they're not, like, they're voting for president, but they're not voting for the Congress to change the laws.
Yes.
So if you're dealing, like, Obamacare was not constitutional. Obamacare was passed as a tax. It was not constitutional simply because the government has no right to force you to buy health care.
Right.
That is just a constitutional fact. So my issue becomes, I don't want to argue with people who aren't in control of the facts or people who don't understand the law. That's the bigger problem. It's just like when you're talking about like what's happening with Black Lives Matter, and you're talking about Breonna Taylor and the no-knock warrants and whatever. There's a lot of issues related to that because now you're getting arguments that say it wasn't even a no-knock warrant. The problem that I have is, if they allowed no-knock warrants to exist, then they set up a situation that, in my opinion, is unconstitutional, which gave a possibility of the situation that happened to her to happen. And it shouldn't have happened, but it did. So my problem is we have to know the law. And if you don't like the laws, you got to change them. But you're not going to do that when you have these people talking about holding the vote hostage and not voting and this, that, and other. You're not changing anything like that.
Right.
Whenever I hear somebody say that, it drives me crazy.
The fact that you and I, can sit here and judge and take notice of bad things that we disagree with on Obama I think is incredible. The thing is, if you look at the other side, I don't see them challenging their man. With a few exceptions, I will say there's a few surprising exceptions who have the balls to actually stand up to Trump. And the one thing that turned me off to a lot of them is that they just toe the party line, and then they won't step up because it's up to them. They got to keep their guy in check. If that's your guy, you gotta keep him in check. If he steps out of line, if he does something stupid, you gotta check him.
But you got to understand that. See, the thing about it is, I don't blame Trump for even being president.
Trump is Trump.
You got to understand, the issue is that the American public has gotten so bad at this point that you can have a Donald Trump shouldn't exist constitutionally. But the American public has gotten so bad at this point that you're able to have leaders who can get away with leading that way. Because keep in mind, the people who you believe should be checking Trump, you have to keep in mind, the simple fact is that there are constituents who like everything he's doing and everything he's saying. And Absolutely. As long as those constituents sign off on this, he's unstoppable. Right. Because it's only the people raising their voice that can say, you know what, I don't like this. I want you to stop doing what you're doing. Right. But if the people themselves have gotten to the point where, it's like, I'm happy and you better not you better not do anything, and you better like you got to understand, Congress people get death threats. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't
No doubt.
understand that.
Yeah.
Congress people get death threats.
AOC,
Get,
Oman, what's her name?
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, they get death threat. I don't know how they do it, man. I don't know. I think maybe I'd just be out of here. I'd take my family and be like, I'm going to Canada. I'll be a legislator in Canada. I can't take this.
We like to believe that it's that simple, but again, these people, these are our Congress representatives. These people on the other side, like the people on the right, they hate Ilhan Omar. They hate Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez. They hate they hate Maxine Waters. And okay, listen, maybe they have a good reason to hate them, but the thing about it is, it's like that's somebody's elected representative. So if you don't like them, you know, that's on you. But the bottom line is, it's like they have a right to represent their constituents.
Absolutely.
So we're at a point right now where these people act as if you have no right to have a representative.
And it's so strange.
Dangerous.
It's so strange.
It's not even just strange. That's dangerous.
Because
keep in mind, whenever you hear these people screaming about term limits, they're not trying to get rid of their congressperson. They're trying to get rid of yours. Just keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. They're trying to get rid of your representative. Now, if you so choose that you want to vote for Ilhan Omar or whatever, then that's just who you're voting for. Right. And they don't have a right to tell you, yeah, you can't have her. Because, you know, Ilhan Omar, she was voted in by her, her Muslim Somalian constituents.
Right, who are in Michigan, right? Some part of Michigan.
No, that's Minneapolis.
Minneapolis?
Same place where what's his name was killed. Philando Castile.
Oh my God! Really? Dang.
Yeah. And you got to understand, Philando Castile, and a lot of bad things have happened in that area. But my thing is, it's like they have to respect your right to have your representation.
Absolutely.
But they don't. They only want theirs, and they want theirs to hurt yours, but they don't respect yours.
Okay, hold on. I got a comment from Wei Gukin Wei. He says, you can start multiple websites for free and see which ones you are most passionate about and start businesses like that. Or you can network and invest in businesses to earn income. Yeah, those are both options that you can use. It really depends on, to go back on what we were saying before about multiple streams of income, it really depends on you. We had to try many different things to figure out where we wanted to, where we sat with it. We tried stocks, stock options. I tried big cryptocurrencies. I tried all kinds of stuff. A lot of it did not work for me. For us, sometimes it would work. It would make some kind of income, but it wasn't for me. Like stocks, it worked, but it wasn't really for me. Now I still have stocks. You know, I'll buy them. I just kind of, you know, I'm like, I just put them there and then that's it. And we trade whenever we need to, not day trading or anything. You just got to try. So I definitely agree with you there, Wei Gukin. Like you got to try different things, try different sites, try different information, try different content. Like once you get a website or once you get a YouTube channel, try different content, see what works for you, see what format works for you, try different things out and see what works. So that's what I did. And then another person says, Last Samurai says, what I mean, Bruce, is under Trump, there will be losers and winners. Under Obama, there will be losers and winners from both sides of the political spectrum. Absolutely. I'm saying, like, listen, be a winner in any situation by having more resources, creating more resources. Don't rely on no government. Don't rely on people to win or lose or whatever. You know, you can get involved. I'm not saying don't vote or anything like that. I'm saying vote. But you got to do for you. The most important thing you can do is make multiple streams of income.
But you know, I'll tell you this, Bruce. Like I have people in my family, and they're really, you know. See, I guess the thing about it, which is crazy, is I had multiple streams of income without thinking about wanting to have multiple streams of income. Like for instance, real quick, I got a second job. And I was also doing YouTubing at the same time, and that allowed me to pay off my student loans about, like maybe, I think it was like 10 years early, basically, because whatever student loans I had, I was like, I want to be debt free. I want to pay this stuff off as fast as possible. when people want to get multiple streams of income, the thing that they got to understand first is they got to get rid of their debt. The first thing they need to do is get rid of their debt, because until you get rid of your debt, you have like a negative cash. No. Your net worth is negative. So to get to really get into these multiple streams of income, you have to work on getting rid of your credit card debt, or you have to get rid of whatever debt you are currently holding. That's the first thing I'll say. Yeah. That's the first step to building your wealth. That's the first thing right there.
Now, as a matter of fact, that's exactly what Yuri and I did. First thing we did was we didn't get rid of all our debt. I didn't pay off my car or anything like that. But what we did was we got it under control to where we had a positive cash flow, right? So you just have to budget and get it to a point where you can control the debt. Like, it's okay to have a couple credit cards, whatever. Don't max them out. You know what I mean? Like, get them under control to where you can pay them off in a month or two. Get your car payment. If your car payment's super high, get it under control. You got to get it under control. Once you have it under control, you can have a little bit of money to play with and do something like this or that. Now, the thing is, a lot of times it's not even about money to put down on a house or put down on a new stream of income, like a business or something like that. You can start a website for free, man. There's really, the only thing that's stopping you is you at this point. A website is not going to immediately make money, but it's a step in the right direction to creating content that can make money. Last Samurai says, definitely get to agree with the host. Once a Donald Trump should not have existed if politicians were in touch with the populace 100%. And then he goes on to say, back to the streams of income, Bruce. I am in tech and have been thinking of starting a platform along the lines of minorities in tech. Not sure if it sounds political, but I think that it's a good niche to try. Man, try anything, man. Try different things. It might work. It might blow up. You might be the next multimillionaire. You might be able to sell it to a BET or something like that. You never know, man. You got to just try it out. I mean, I've done here locally. We used to have an airsoft field, and it did really good. And it wasn't for me. I didn't like having the employees, and my partner was kind of, we weren't on the same team. So I had to stop that. I got out of it, but it was making money. I tried that. I tried selling stuff online. That it worked. It wasn't for me. Man, what else did I try? I was creating apps at one point. Created a few apps out there. It didn't do that good. I created a bunch of websites. That actually did good in the beginning. That actually did really good, and that led me to other things.
What did your websites? I have a cousin right now trying to do the website thing, but what were your websites designed to do? What did they sell?
Well, the first one that went well was just about cybersecurity type stuff. It was basically not necessarily selling. I would put out free content. I would create content that and it got popular because the stuff I was talking about nobody else was talking about. So it was supply and demand, right? So people were looking for this thing, and now I knew that they were looking for it because I was looking for it. I'm like, man, I need to know some more information about this thing. I'm like, nobody's talking about it. I'm like, I know enough to talk about it, so I just start making a blog actually, and I start talking about here's how you do it, step 1, 2, and 3, and then I would tell people how to remove certain viruses that came out. What happened was people start coming to the website, and I was making AdSense. At the time, AdSense was blowing. It was like kind of new, so AdSense is it doesn't make as much money unless you make videos now. So I don't know if it would make that kind of content won't make money on a website as far as I know anymore, unless you're pulling down. Anyway, so that was the first site I made. Then I was like, wow, I should make more blogs, and then I'll talk about other things that make even more money. So I made one about the 80s. Me and my buddy made one that actually made money in the same way. It was just I put content out, and then people would click on the ads every now and then, and I would make revenue off of that. It got to a point where it was averaging of like $400 a month, and it got up to as high as $1,000 a couple times a month. But the real magic of that site was that other people corporations would contact me about the information I was putting out, and then I would get consulting gigs based off of it. So that made me six figures. So, there's different. I wasn't like getting the site and then reselling it. I wasn't doing that. Like, I wasn't doing, what do you call it, people's domain squatting. Like, you would buy domains and then you'd buy like IBM.com before IBM bought it or something like that, and then
make them buy it off of you.
There was stuff like that. I know I was never successful at that. I kind of tried it out, but I was like, nah, you got to buy like hundreds of them. So that was how I did it, just with content alone. I can't think of any other way. That one thing I kind of lost the ship has sailed on was that I should have been building an email list, and I didn't do that, because I noticed like the people, I started blogging at the same time a couple of other famous people are. I don't know if you ever heard of Pat. Oh my God, what's that guy's name? Pat, Passive Income Pat, or I cannot remember his name. He's really famous right now. But me and that guy started off on almost the same time, and that guy had a mailing list, and he kept evolving, and so now that guy's making like he's a millionaire now, and I could have been that guy, if I just followed that cheat code, and I didn't do it. So,
well, see, the thing about it is everybody's good at something different. I mean, most people as long as you've got the time, and as long like you can always do something else and make yourself some money coming in. Yes. The thing that it's really funny though, because now you got to understand there's a lot of these YouTube gurus and there's a lot of fake gurus who copy paste each other's speeches basically, and these guys have everybody is like talking about, oh gee, yeah, you got to have multiple streams of income, you got to have it. The thing about it is everybody's ultimately going to have a different niche. Yes, some people are fortunate enough that they get left property by their parents. Some people are fortunate enough to be able to buy property really, really cheap, and then they can become a landlord if they're lucky. But you got, right now, it's like the reason, this is a bear market. Right now, everybody's either selling their assets or they're hunkering down, and they're trying to protect themselves because they know that there's going to be major problems in the market, right? Mm-hmm. So, my thing as far as like your websites, that was good. I used to be on this website. It was epinions.com. It was part of shopping.com. I used to write reviews, and we got paid for them. And I was writing them, and then what I was doing was I was spamming my links in like Engadget and other places to get people to come read my stuff. Yep. And I was making as much as sometimes I was making as much as like $700 or $800 a month. And then when I started YouTubing, I was making the the ePinions money, and I was making YouTube money. It was less YouTube money. As time went on and Google started forcing all traffic towards YouTube, that's when I started making more money with YouTube. But it's like I've told you this before. YouTube algorithm has been screwing us really bad lately. It's been really screwing us. Like I know I could be getting 3 or 4 times the views that I'm getting, except the algorithm is really screwing us up, and it's shunting traffic to where it feels like shunting traffic. Like you'll notice you're on YouTube, all of a sudden a video pops up that you would have watched 7 years ago, and you're like, wow, I wish I had seen this when it came out, and you never heard of it. And everybody's saying the same thing. Like they type in the comments, they're like, yeah, the YouTube algorithm brought me here today in 2020 when this video is like 10 years old.
I'll add to that. I noticed.
I will say this: as long as you keep building up your videos,
that's true.
You keep making as many videos as you can make. You'll keep pulling royalties out. Like I don't know what you make on YouTube right now, but over time, you'll continue to have a little bit of that royalty money coming in.
Yeah, it's not much. It's like a few $100s. That's not YouTube AdSense is not what we make most of our income off of. We make most of our income off of courses, which I create and send people to the courses and stuff on my other channel. And I also noticed like what you just said about the people years later. So what I noticed is what happens is I'll create a video and 200 people will see it from my subscribers, right? I only got like 20,000 subscribers on yuribruce, but like 200 people, my solid core people come. People like Wegukin Way or yourself or somebody just watches my videos, right? Jay Barnes, whoever. That's my solid core, 200 people, and then 2 years later, it'll get bumped up in the algorithm, and then suddenly all this flood of people will come start seeing it, or they'll see it and they'll repost it somewhere, and it'll get popular and go viral or something like that. But I just noticed like when you put out content, sometimes it'll take sometimes a year or even 2 years or 6 months or whatever for it to kind of bubble up to the top of the algorithm, and then Google starts sharing it. YouTube starts sharing it internally. Let me see.
Yeah, it's really annoying because I know I could be doing a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, man, your stuff's gonna blow up, man. I'm sure.
Yeah, but I need that money now. I need that money right now. They got a new iPhone coming out for $2,000. I need that now.
The Last Samurai says, back to the streams. Okay, I think I already read that one. Wei Gukenwei says, be sure to look up grants to start up a business. That's a great idea. Talk to a financial advisor before you spend money. The last thing you want to do is have tax troubles in the first year or two of your business. Yeah, once you start making money, then like Yuri and I, like we're having to go talk to tax professionals and talk to legal people and stuff because we're like.
Well, let me ask you before you move on. Let me ask you. I know both you and Yuri have a W-2 salary job at this point, right?
Yes.
And I'm pretty sure you also filed 1099, right?
Yes. Yeah, I have a 1099 that we have from YouTube.
Because let me tell you something. It's like I explain to the guys on the tech forums all the time when they're like, "Oh, why are you spending so much money on computer equipment?" You save all your receipts all year long, and
you think I don't?
A CPA,
you think I don't when I do?
Let me tell you something. I write off. I act like I'm freaking like I act almost like I'm Trump writing off everything. Let me tell you something. I write off business class flights. I write off vacations to the Philippines as business, and the way I'm able to do it is because I'm a YouTuber and I filed 1099 as a journalist for YouTube. I don't know how you file, but if you file as a journalist, all of that stuff becomes a tax deduction. And it's like, that's how the rich stay rich. You can write off your car repairs. You can write off extra fuel you've spent. You can write off your donations to the Salvation Army. When I send if I send my girlfriend to the Philippines, if I send her some money, I keep those receipts. I write that off too. And I write that off as charity.
Right.
I keep every single receipt. If Yuri sends her family money, she can write that off as charity.
So here's the thing. Yeah, let me add to that. So the reason why Jeff Bezos and Warren Buffett and all these other guys don't pay, you hear this news about they didn't pay taxes and stuff. What my man here is saying is that's exactly why, because all those things become taxable write-offs. So
there you go.
They're just playing the game. Like, you can be mad at the game. Don't hate the player, hate the game. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but if you want to be in the game, you got to play the game. And that's
the first thing I said to you? You got to know the law.
You got to know the law, and that's part of the tax law. So if it's part of the law, you're not breaking the law by writing off these taxes. They're gonna get their fair share of taxes. I'm a W-2 worker. They take it right out of my check. It comes right out of my check before it even gets to me. They got their money. So if I have a business and I'm hiring people to help me edit, I'm using my money to fly to overseas, to travel, to take pictures of stuff, and I'm posting it, I'm helping people out. All those are taxable write-offs. So you can do the same thing, but you got to have a business. You got to have multiple streams of income, because that's also taxable. All those things become write-offs legally. Yeah. Know the law, just like my man.
Legally.
Yeah.
All exactly. You gotta do is hold on. I keep every single receipt I can keep, and all you gotta have is those receipts.
And why do you keep your receipts? They know.
If the IRS ever looks at my taxes and say, you know what, we think something's shady, we want to see all these receipts.
We want to audit you.
We want to audit you. Here. And
here you go.
I can hand them.
Here you go.
And let me tell you something. This is a mistake a lot of people make. See, your multiple revenue streams are okay, but if you're getting taxed like crazy, it doesn't really matter, because you're losing so much money to the government. So my only thing is, what I'm saying, it's like knowing how to write your stuff off is good. You keep all your receipts. Your CPA can figure it out later, because the tax laws are going to keep on changing and everything. So my only thing, you were going to say something. I'll let you go ahead.
What?
We're gonna say something.
Yes, it's not how much money you make; it's how much money you keep.
There you go. There you go. And
That's
let me
it.
tell you something. When I'm in the Philippines, when I'm in Thailand, whatever it is, I take these awesome vacations. I keep my foreign receipts and I bring those back here. And just in case you ever get audited, and that brings back what I was thinking. I do not. I don't try to cheat the government by lowering my withholding, and a lot of people try to do that because they've gotten this mindset. They're like, oh well, why am I giving the government a tax-free loan? You're giving the government a tax-free loan so that they don't visit you at your house like Breonna Taylor. That's why. So my thing is, make sure that you allow them to take what they're gonna take, and then you just file for it back later on. They will. I've never been audited. I've had family members who tried that tax withholding switchy rule bullshit, and they've been audited. I don't need the government looking at me funny at all. Take the money, I'll get it back later. And that's all. So when I get my tax returns, I know that they're holding more money than they need to hold. But at the end of my year, I'm getting about $10,000 back. So I'm getting about what between the state and the federal, I'm getting like 7,000, and then the rest of that is my property taxes. So my thing is, in order to play this game, you have to know the law, and the average person is not going to know all the laws. So you got to have a CPA.
Yes.
If I don't know if you listen to Urban View, there's a guy named Lou Hutt. He says you got to have yourself a coach. You got to have a tax coach. You got to have a CPA. Lou Hutt. Or if you listen to Sirius XM Urban View, every Saturday at 9, I believe it is, there's a guy named Lou Hutt. Lou Hutt, Hutt. And the guy is a CPA. He owns a tax firm. He's a black CPA.
Okay.
I know a few other black CPAs. Now, if you want to buy black, you want to do your business black, that's cool. You can go to them. My CPA right now, he's like, my last one was Jewish. My new one, I think, is Italian or something. But if you want it, however you want to go. But I like, my CPA, he'd been in business for years, working with pensions, working with firemen, working with police, working with teachers. He specialized in city. Mm-hmm. This man has probably never been audited. You got to get somebody you can trust.
Yes.
What you don't want is you don't want to go to one of these tax chop shops where they say, oh, you don't like that you're only getting 5,000 back. Let me see if I can squeeze another 3,000 out of it. You do not want to go to these people because sooner or later the government's coming. And I don't need them coming. I just don't need it.
Yeah,
that's the one. Let me tell you, that's the one thing that they can really get you on is taxes.
We just got a CPA because it was this year. Like last year, we did better than we'd ever done. We're like, we have all these different streams, like I said, real estate and all stuff, and it's just getting too complicated. We're like, man, all right, we can't do it no more. So just like a couple weeks ago, as a matter of fact, we were talking to a CPA, and we were just telling him everything, and so we're gonna definitely go with him because it's just getting too much. We want to do it right. So yeah, Gukin Way is right. You got to have a professional on your side. I mean, that's what the big boys do. That's what the rich people do, and they do it for a reason. Because tax laws are very complicated, and there are lots of write-offs. There are lots of things that you can do to keep some more of your money and stuff legally. We're not saying to do anything illegal, but you just have to do it right. So that's what we're doing, is going to a CPA to knock that down.
And let me tell you another thing. A lot of people, some people are again, these YouTube gurus. You see these guys come on all the time talking about the best credit card to have, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that they should avoid credit and credit cards, but the bottom line is you can't build up your personal credit. So that means that when you want something like a car or a house, it's very difficult to afford it because chances are you don't have $300,000 or $400,000 laying around. Chances are. So I triple dip. What I do, I got to start my wealth building. Originally I started using a debit card, but then they took away the rewards from that in about 2008 because they saw people using debit cards. They weren't making money off of the debit cards. So they took away rewards from debit cards. What I did was I picked up.
Is that what happened?
Well, no, you got to remember in 2008, when we went through the financial crisis, people were cut off from their credit. So what they started doing was they actually started saving more money because they started using debit cards. They started managing their budgets better. They stopped spending extra. They stopped spending more than they normally would. Now, back then, credit cards and debit cards both had rewards points on them.
Yes.
Then the bank said, you know what? We're not making any money because we can't charge you late payments on a debit card because you're using your own money. We can't charge you finance charges on a debit card because you're using your own money. So what they did was they took away all the incentives for you to save cash. If you put cash in a bank, you get nothing in interest.
Right.
If you put it in the stock market, they trick you into put it into there. And if you lose it all, then that's just shame on you. You lost it all. You should have known that, Tesla was going to fall $100 in 1 week. You should have known. But my thing is, credit cards, you pick a nice credit card that has a $0 per year annual fee that offers you some type of reward. Specifically, does it give you traveling points? Because that's how it's easy for me. Like, by the way, when with my credit card, I spend all my money on my credit card. So it does two things. It generates a receipt on your credit card if you needed to give it to your CPA. That's number one. Number two, as long as you pay your bill off before the bill comes, like as long as you pay the balance before the bill comes, you never pay interest and you're getting paid to buy things you normally would already buy. So I'm triple dipping. I get my credit card points. It's usually enough money where I can say, you know what, I'm going to the Philippines. I could pay off my entire condo for the entire month based solely on the credit card points.
Yeah.
That's about what, 50,000, 60,000 points? And that comes out to about $500 or $600.
Yes.
So I can pay off the entire stay using just my credit card points.
Great minds think alike. We'll do the same thing. Me and Yuri do the same thing.
Or you can upgrade your seats on a flight.
And it's not even just flights. You can get if you like Hilton, you can get Hilton points. It depends on the credit card, and you definitely want to look at the interest rates and all that kind of stuff. But you got points on if you rent cars a lot, you got points on that. You got points on what we use a lot is Hilton, so we get free stays at Hilton for a night or 2 nights. There was one where we could get 5 nights. We got to a point where we can get 5 free nights in Colombia in a Hilton. That's how good that is. Yeah. Flights, we get free flights, all that kind of stuff.
Hilton, for whatever reason, those people are calling me like every other day as if I'm planning to go on vacation somewhere.
Yeah, it sucks, man.
Like the Hilton, I don't know why I'm getting these calls at like 10 o'clock at night. It's like, where do you think I am? But I don't know when the last time you personally went to the Philippines was.
Been a while.
Because I remember the last video that I saw you do was like in Thailand. When you guys went to Thailand.
Yeah, that was.
But let me tell you something. When you fly, especially when you fly, first of all, I can't do 12 and plus hours. I fly nothing but business class at this point. Not only because I can do a tax write-off, but also because, I mean, have you ever done that? Have you ever flown to the Philippines business class?
A couple times. Yeah, at least once.
Oh, you have? Okay. Did you do it with Philippine Airlines, Asiana, or Korean?
I don't recall. I've done business fly. I fly a lot because I'm my job. So I've done business. Okay. I've done first class very rarely, but I've done both of those, and they're definitely better. Definitely better. And you're like 6'6", right? Aren't you like aren't you like 7 feet tall?
Well, to the Filipinos, I'm basically 7 feet tall. Like when they ask how tall you are, I just say 2 meters. Because but they don't even use the metric system. They use like the imperial or whatever. So
really,
if you say 6'6", because if you ask a Filipina how tall she is, she's gonna say 5'0", or she's gonna say 5'5".
Yeah.
So I usually like when I was in China, I would always say 2 meters tall. But let me tell you something. When you fly business class, there's like no going back, and the people, they have to learn your name. They gotta learn your last name. You get your stuff. Or like they know who you are. It's like you can ask them for soup or food or whatever at any time during the flight.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
I'm up here drinking wines and vintage wines. I'm like, oh, you know what? I'm happy. I'll have the pasta meal. Please give me the 1969 Cabriolet or whatever. And they just, oh man, let me tell you something. There's nothing like that. And when you see, like when you're at Nimoy Aquino,
yeah,
and you get like when you have to check in nice and early in the morning, like I had to check in at like 5, and then I get to walk into that lounge.
Yeah.
Because what happened was last time I was there and I had to come back to America, they had a lounge there and they said, to go into the lounge it's like $50, but if you have a business flight, it's automatically built into your ticket, right?
Right.
And the flight was canceled and I had to come back the next day. So here I am, I'm checking in ahead of all these people standing online, and then you go into the lounge where you're sitting down, all you can eat, sitting back, kicking up your feet, reading newspapers, this, that, and other. Meanwhile, the other people who are the regular economy, for their trouble, for their trouble of missing the flight, all they got was to sit in the regular economy place, and they got them Jollibee. I'm like, shit. I was like, man, I ain't never going. Yeah, they got them Jollibee. So they got, and this was early in the morning. They got them like a Jollibee breakfast.
Hey, like, Jollibee's dope, man. What are you talking about?
The only thing Jollibee got going for them is their chicken. Everything else they got, I'm sorry. I had one of their big Kahuna burgers. That thing nearly made me throw up.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. Don't be talking about
what about the spaghetti?
The spaghetti is bullshit. You put big chop on fucking Franks. Are you kidding me? Let me tell you something. My Filipino girlfriend, right? I'll send you a photo of it so you can see it. But my Filipino girlfriend, she invited her friends, her girls over, and I told her, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make dinner, and I made them pin alla vodka, right? So I went right to the Trinoma Mall. I got pin pasta, which was easy to get, nice and cheap, regular pin pasta. I got the American brand pin alla vodka sauce, and then I got the block of mozzarella cheese. Right. They don't sell like Polio; they sell the cheap stuff. And let me tell you something. I threw together that pin alla vodka. Yo, let me tell you something. One of them girls sat there and ate that whole damn pot. And they were like, wow, you got to marry this guy. He knows how to cook it. And they had me cooking. And then, let me tell you something. One day, they like making that like cheap pasta. They like making carbonara and what's that other thing? And they make this spaghetti. They're chopping Franks up in it. And then these aren't even like Oscar Mayer Franks. They got those cheap Franks that are like red, that look like beef. What else? Beef chews, like those.
Don't
beef,
do that.
Jerky. No, but that's what they were doing, and they thought that was normal. And we go to Jollibee, and I order a bit. Like I take them, and like we go out. I'd get a bucket of chicken. I would eat the chicken and mashed potatoes, and that would be like it. And they eating the spaghetti and all that. I was like, yo, your spaghetti sucks. Have you had Filipino spaghetti sauce? Oh man,
it's kind of sweet.
That stuff is like, it's kind of sweet. It's like water.
It
doesn't have the thickness.
Their spaghetti is sweet. It's just different, you know. Have you ever had? I was in Italy and had their spaghetti. Whoa, man! I was like, so this is how spaghetti's supposed to eat? Supposed to taste? I'm like, it's supposed to taste like this, because the noodles were really good. The noodles were super good. I'm like, damn, these noodles are good. You know, it was different. It had a different taste, but man, it was like, damn, this is real like, spaghetti right here.
Yo, let me tell you something. I made the spaghetti. I went to the market. I got that fresh ground beef.
Yeah.
And they don't even use ground beef like that. And I brought the ground beef back, and I showed them. I was like, yeah, this is all you have to do. You just fry it up. You throw a little salt, pepper in it. Just fry it up, and then you just mix that into your sauce. Man, they were like, oh, my God, this is the most incredible spaghetti I ever had. like that spaghetti and a pin alla vodka. And they loved it. And it was just like, because I like bringing our cooking style over there, because then they can find out why America is so fat.
Right.
Because yeah,
the food.
You know, it was like real quick. My first when I was in China, we had Thanksgiving, and what I did was I went to Harley Davidson, the cafe, to get a turkey, because nobody over there really celebrates Thanksgiving. So I went and got a turkey. I had my mom mail me instant stuffing. What was that? Was that stovetop? Yeah. I had her mail me stovetop. I had her mail me mac and cheese.
Right.
And I made a basic Thanksgiving meal in China. And I had my Chinese friends. They came over. They didn't even know how to eat the stuff, because it was like no chopsticks. I was like, no, you got to do it with a knife and fork. And they were sitting there like children trying to cut this stuff, because they were like, what the hell? How do you do it? And we had a good time. We had a really good time.
That's great, man.
About cultural confusion right there, man.
Yeah, man. I love traveling, man.
Jollibee spaghetti, hell no. In fact, I don't even like the pizza over there. Like, I had Pizza Hut over there, and the bread tasted like, it didn't taste that great. It was like soggy to some extent. And I had it in 2 different occasions. I was like, yo, this food doesn't taste, I don't know what you're not putting in it that we put in it, but whatever it was, I was like, yeah, this is boring.
I got a Ben and Newton Chronicle says, I've been to AC and Pattaya. AC is, what is AC? Is that Angeles City? He must
Most likely Angeles
He must
City.
be, yeah. Have you guys ever been to Thailand?
I've been. I went there. I made a video.
Did you like it?
Bangkok. Oh man, I love the place.
Man, I love
It was actually
Thailand.
more sophisticated than I expected.
Yeah, Thailand is one of my favorite spots, man. That's been one of my favorite.
Let me just say this. Isn't it funny that when you watch American movies, American TV, they make every place else look like shit? Like I was expecting Thailand to look like it did in the what was that? The Hangover 3? No, you saw the Hangover 3?
Yes.
I was expecting it to be like to look like out of like what is it? Bruce Lee's Enter the Dragon. And when I went over there, I was like, wow, this place, with the exception of the street electrical wiring, I was like, wow, this place is incredible.
Mr. Mike T. Man, how you doing?
It was so neat.
We got money life business. How you doing? We got 4 people on here chatting it up. You guys want to get involved with this chat? It's going to be going for a really long time, so I will share out that link once again. If anybody else is interested in jumping in here, any topic, all topics, nothing's off the table. I don't mind getting demonetized.
Here's the question, Bruce. When's the next time you think you're going back to the Philippines?
Oh man, it's probably gonna be a while, man. I know Yuri wants to go back as soon as it opens up again, but me myself, I'm probably not gonna go back to Southeast Asia for a while. I'm trying to go to either Canada or South America myself. But Yuri's gonna probably go. Yeah, Yuri's probably gonna go in as soon as it opens up. And you sent out a link. You said that it's gonna open up. Philippines supposed to open up in what?
But
first
not international travel. The problem in the Philippines is it's not just international travel that's shut down. It's also domestic travel between the islands.
That's crazy, man.
Like my Filipino over there, she was telling me she can't even move around without that pass.
Damn.
So if you don't have that pass, you can't even like really go out.
Man, imagine having states shut down the borders between states. Imagine that.
No. I got one better for you. Imagine somebody somebody Western Unions you or sends you money, and you're not even allowed to go outside to get it.
That's crazy, man.
Or even better, imagine you go there to get it, and the goddamn thing is either out of money, or the communications are down, or that specific shop has run out of cash, or there's a line around the place like Disney World.
Man, yeah, not for
like
me.
The Bronx.
That's the Bronx.
Listen,
that's the Bronx.
You know what's funny? Lately, I've been here in New York. Lately, when you go around to the bank, I've been seeing lines up to the bank like I've never seen before, and it almost looks like everybody's making a run on the bank. But it's because they don't allow many people to come in. And I'm like, there's got to be a better way to do this. Yeah, the social distancing thing makes it so that not a lot of people are allowed to come in. And I was like, oh my.
Didn't they end it Friday? Or
Nah, that shit still go because individual businesses get to determine how they want to do it. So they can do the social distancing as long as they want. Because you also got to remember, there's a lot of people who refuse to go to certain places unless they can, eat outside or whatever. There's a lot of people who refuse to actually go to some of these places unless they're doing social distancing. So, it's the optics of it. Like, even though they've loosened the restrictions, a lot of these places, like, for instance, I just went to a pizzeria. I was able to go and sit in the pizzeria. Meanwhile, I can't go and sit into a Taco Bell. And it doesn't matter how far away from each other you want to sit. Some businesses have just done different rules.
They don't want that liability.
Yeah, they don't even want the opportunity for you to sue their ass and say, yeah, I went into Taco Bell for a grande combo and I got coronavirus. They don't even want to give you that option.
Colorado's actually been very reasonable about the whole thing. Now, granted, we don't have this kind of we're not as packed in as like a New York City is. New York City, I believe, is the most popular, not only one of the most populated cities, but also the people per square foot is more. You know what I mean? There's more people per square for kilometer than any other state. But Colorado, having 5 million people, like, it's been pretty good about doing social distancing. Our restaurants are open. It's just that they what they do is space out the tables. Like, okay, we're gonna seat you here. We're gonna sit this other people. It's the other group here. And then when you walk in, you're supposed to have a mask. Normally, you sit down, you eat, you can take the mask off. it's kind of, I think it's working pretty good for Colorado anyway. But it's something.
I'm sorry. If you look at those photos that I just sent you, you can see the Penala vodka I made and all those little ass stoves I had to use to cook. And if you look at that right now, you could kind of see what it was like in that place I stayed at, the Grass Residence in Quezon City.
Where is that? Where did you
it's in the thing Yuri Discord. If you click on Yuri Discord, you'll see it.
Let me see. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, this place was $15 a day.
Damn, I miss the Philippines, man. I do miss the Philippines.
God. Man, if I could just sell everything and just leave right now and not have to worry, it's like you'll never see me again.
You can. You absolutely can, Trucker.
No, I could do it, but I've got family here. Like, I have a mother, and I'm sure she'd like to see me every now and then. And I've got a father, and I'm sure he'd like to see me, but he doesn't travel. My mom would travel, but yeah, well,
FaceTime, brother.
So it's like easier to bring her here. After all, she doesn't want to be there. She'd rather be here.
Yeah, I would love to go back, man. I'm actually feeling the itch to travel. Not necessarily the Philippines, but really I'm trying to try other places. But
have you been to Bali, Indonesia?
I've not been to Bali. That's one of our next locations that I really, really want to go to. Bali is another. Another one is Cambodia. We want to go there, and then Singapore. I haven't been there. I've been to Hong Kong, Thailand, Japan. I lived in Korea for like a year, and that's about it. I've never been to China except to go through the airport, which that doesn't count. But
now, here's a question: when you were in Korea, were you just there? What were you doing there? Were you military or were you there as a worker?
I was military the first time I went, and I stayed. That's when I was there for a year, and I was stationed in Kunsan, and I was in and out of Osan for like training and stuff like that. I'm very familiar with that area. I mean, I even learned Korean and stuff like that. And then I went there again as a contractor. So I've been in and out of Korea. I'm pretty familiar with the culture and everything.
This after staying in the Philippines as long as I have and being in Thailand, I'll say this: it's like most of Southeast Asia. It's like it's so similar. It's almost like it doesn't even matter which one you go to. It's like no matter which one you like, basically, depending upon how you feel about individual languages, that is going to be the main thing that decides where you want to go. Because I loved South Korea, but I didn't learn Korean before going there, so I was isolated. When I go to the Philippines, there's almost no isolation because pretty much everything is English. When I was in China, I would have been isolated, except I learned the language before I went. Yeah. And when I was in Japan, there was so much in English in Japan, I didn't have a problem getting around. But when you go to, even when I went to Thailand was very easy to get around. You didn't really need much help. But,
I would say they're very different. Like when Vietnam, that's another one I went to. Vietnam, South Korea, and Thailand, so different from one another. Like the culture and everything's so different. Maybe that's because I was there for a while, and it's just a whole different feel there. It's a completely different vibe, completely different feel. The food, everything. Just I love to like really dive into the culture and stuff. So
what food do you like the most?
My favorite is South Korean food is my favorite. The barbecue is crazy.
You must like your food hot.
I like it hot, but they have food that's not hot too. So, Korean food is probably my favorite Southeast Asian food.
When they were putting that red Korean hot pepper paste and everything, I was eating that shit. Let me tell you something. Before I would go to bed, like first of all, I had trouble sleeping because my stomach was always hurting because it was hot. Yeah. But when I had to get on that toilet, oh my god! Like all that hot pepper, you would have thought I was a woman on her period. Because it was like blood was coming out. Like I was pissing blood,
Oh my
man.
God.
Like it was so hot. It was so freaking, everything was spicy.
Did you like kimchi?
Did
you try it?
I always like kimchi.
I love kimchi, man.
the red pepper paste in the noodles. When I first got there, I went out looking for food. So I ended up in like a soup kitchen.
Yeah.
And she served me, and it was a nice soup kitchen. A nice lady. She couldn't speak English because it's like nobody there could speak English, damn near.
Man,
But,
I'm glad you're a food adventurer like myself, man. A lot of Americans are too afraid. I used to travel with these dudes, man. When I was a contractor, we would go to all kinds of countries, and these guys, man, the first thing they would do is look for a Popeyes chicken or a McDonald's. And I'm like, we're in Japan, and you're looking for a Popeyes chicken. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, no,
eat fried snail. Well, fried
they
snail.
don't eat no damn. The only place. Let me tell you something. As far as that snail thing goes, I went to a Pizza Hut in Shanghai on Nanjing Road, and they had escargot, and it was just an option. And escargot, you know, that's big in France as a snail, right?
Right.
I tried it, and I wasn't really impressed with it, but I mean, it was interesting to just see it on a menu, you know? If you had been in France, would you have tried it?
I tried, yeah. When I was in Thailand, we were drunk off our ass, but we tried some bugs, man. We tried some. They eat grasshoppers. They have spiders. Yeah, they have roaches. We tried the grasshoppers, and it was actually good. It tastes like Frito-Lays.
It was like Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. It was like when they had dinner. And you remember that? And the guy brings out the monkey's head, and he was like, "Oh yes, dessert,
chilled brains."
Monkey brain.
Yeah, I remember
chilled monkey brain.
Yeah,
and the girl fainted. I was like, "Oh my god!" And
yeah,
then they bringing out scorpions.
Me and Yuri had no intention of eating that stuff. But like, we took pictures of it and everything, but we had no intention. But we were out with our friends over there, and the dude's lady is Thai and stuff. We were having a real good time with them. We were getting kind of effed up. And then we went out, and next thing I know, we're eating bugs. I'm like, damn, this isn't bad.
Listen, if I end up in a situation where I have to do it to survive, listen, I'll eat just about anything, including, the other survivors. But the thing about it is, it's like, I don't want to have to. I can't do that. I can't do that.
You gotta try it, man. You gotta try it.
I've probably eaten much worse. I don't know. I love squid. I like squid. I like octopus.
That's not exotic.
I think, it's only not exotic because they were, Red Lobster had it and they fried it up, so that's why it's not exotic. When I was in China, I think the weirdest thing I probably ate was squab pigeon, and even most people would say that's not exotic. But when you're in a Chinese restaurant on like a regular street in a back alley, yeah, it's exotic.
Man, one time, me and a few other dudes, we were working for the military. We were going out to these sites. We were in Japan. And these dudes I was with, man, they were not food adventurers, man. They only ate Popeye's chicken, right? So, and then I took the one dude, he was a brother. There was a white dude, a brother, and our boss was a Vietnamese dude. And they were all government employees. So they kept talking crap about the food and stuff. And I was like, listen, man. I was talking to the brother. I was like, listen, man. Like, you got to at least try it, man. Come with me. I'll take you to a nice place. I guarantee you're going to like the food. So I took him we were in Shinjuku, and we went down this street, and I was like, this place smells good, let's go into this place right here. So we walk in and stuff. They sit us down. They have the little hibachi grill thing. It's like a little grill that you can just put the meat on there and you eat it. And I was like, yeah, okay, this is gonna be good. And so we sat down, we opened up the menu, and it was in English, but it was like the English was off. And so one of them said pork anus. And he was like, pork anus? Man, where did you take me? I was like, oh, shit. Then the food wasn't good. He was like, man, he never let me live that down. The food was not good.
You know what? The crazy thing about it is, especially as a black American,
yeah,
for them to have pig anus on a menu, you'd be like, oh, that's fucking ridiculous. I'd never eat that shit.
Chitlins.
And then the same people would eat chitlins.
Chitlins. That's what chitlins is.
No different.
Yep.
No difference. And I used to eat chitlins. I don't do that no more.
Nah, I don't eat chitlins. I had to clean them once, and I was like, nope, I'm not ever eating this stuff again. I don't like any kind of intestines, man. Like, I can't do it. Even when I was in Italy, we went to this exotic place, and they brought out something that was like is it called menudo? It just smelled like tripe. It was like It was like cow's intestines, and it was in a soup, and it smelled like you would think cow's intestines would smell. It smelled like bile.
Actually, tripe is the stomach.
The stomach.
It's not the intestines.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Stomach.
It was the stomach. It was that, and it was like, oh my god, it was so bad, man. But everything else they had was really good.
That's chitlins.
That was in.
No. Chitlins are pig intestine.
Yes. Difference. Big difference.
Tripe is the stomach.
Yeah, and it tasted like the stomach, by the way. The bile. Like, you can't, I don't know how, like, you're supposed to get rid of that bile smell, but I could smell it. Like, I got a very strong sense of smell with my big ass nose, and I was like, oh my god, that's that bile. You know, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna taste it. I did not like it.
If you're eating the stomach, then you wouldn't get bile because bile comes after the food leaves the stomach.
I don't know, man. All I know,
the intestines, that's the bile.
I don't know. Whatever it was, that's how it smelled to me, and I was like, oh my god, and it did not taste good. By the way,
you don't like it. If you don't like the smell, like the thing about it is we have an evolved sense of smell. If your body says, yeah, I don't like the way this shit smells, you're better off not eating.
Yeah, it was that was in I like kimchi, and that smells horrible. But that was in southern Italy, where they had some really exotic, like Mediterranean kind of food and stuff. Somebody said hot sauce. Raphael Williams said hot sauce. To douse out the taste? Yeah, everything else was good.
I was at this party with these old people, and they had freaking, those big plastic bins you store clothes and stuff in your house, like the big bins?
Yes.
They had a bin, or they had a couple of bins filled with chitlins in like, I don't know if it was water or vinegar or whatever. And they smelled sour. And they were trying to cook them on the grill or something and then use hot sauce. I was like, I'm not eating that shit. that right there, that killed my entire desire for chitlins, just smelling that shit right there. Killed it.
Man, like I said, like my mom would get that bucket and you got to clean them. And I had to clean them one time, and man, the stuff that was in there, I was like, nah, I'm not eating this. There's no way. I'm never eating this again. And actually, if you cook them good, they're actually really, really good. And the texture is really good. If you fry it, yeah. And the texture, I love the texture. But like after having cleaned it, I was like, oh, no, I'm done.
And another, like that souse, that head cheese that they have from the South. Oh, man. When I was a kid, I used to think it tasted okay, but then when you learn how they make it, that's like the nastiest shit you could possibly put in a pack. Have you ever had that, souse?
No, I've never had that.
God. Hey, listen, guys. I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. Okay, y'all talking about the food, so y'all need to bag up.
No,
I grew up on chili. And
I can't eat them, man. I can't eat them.
Let me tell you something. That souse is as if they took a pig and just threw the whole pig into a goddamn oven.
Whatever's left over, that's what goes in the souse meat.
Yeah, listen, I'm 2 generations removed from slavery. I only eat my food at Starbucks.
Oh my god! Have you guys ever tried Australian food? You know what I'm talking about? Australian Maramite.
Look at the photo. Look at the photo I just sent. That's what souse is.
Maramite okay, I'm gonna check it out. Maramite or what's the other one called? Vegemite. Have you tried that before?
That is some nasty. No, I haven't really tried much Australian anything.
Yeah, you got to try it.
Hey, can you see that photo?
Yeah, I'm trying to. Where'd you put it?
I put it again with Yuri Discord.
Oh, okay.
Where it says chat.
Oh, I've seen this before. I never tasted it.
When you see it in the package, it kind of looks normal, but nah. It's weird because if you heat it up, it's not bad if you like pork. But when you this is like they took the whole damn pig and just dropped his ass head first in the blender while he was still alive. It's like they call it head cheese.
How does it taste?
If you like pork, it tastes like pork spiced ham. I'm sure.
It tastes delicious.
I used to like it, but let me tell you something. when you watch pork being made and you see the processes for chitlins and stuff like this, it all of a sudden I start agreeing with Farrakhan. Like all of a sudden, it's like automatically I hear Farrakhan in the back of my mind, and he starts talking while I'm looking at it and smelling it. I'm like, yeah, that's okay. I'm not getting it.
I don't want to.
Any food being processed and the way they cut it up and separate and mix things together, it's all the same.
Nah, it's not, because it's like look at Dominican pernil. They take like the shoulder of the pig and then they roast it a really, really long time. Souse is nowhere near as consistent as a regular cut of meat. Souse is like, when you look at that souse, when you look at that photo I just sent,
yes,
that looks like they just took the whole goddamn pig and just threw them into a blender. Like, when you eat Dominican pernil, that's my favorite pork. And there's a restaurant here, they make the best pernil that you ever had. It's a Dominican restaurant in Queens. And I love that. When I go there, I get that with some white rice, and I get fresh limes, and I just squeeze that all over the whole thing. I don't even get
Mike
spicy rice.
What are these little red chunks inside the sauce?
Your guess is as good as mine.
Is that carrots?
Those are peppers.
It's whatever you want it to be.
Okay.
It's brain matter. It's brain matter.
Okay, remember this. The slaves got what the masters did not want.
Okay.
I am not a slave.
Okay, so
well,
everything.
Hear the man out.
So everything that they didn't want to process into their food, that's what the slaves got.
I know. I heard the stories.
Okay, and so South meats is the bits and pieces that of the meat that wasn't eaten by the slave, and everything was put together, and it was put in a gelatin to hold it together. You got peppers, you got everything. You've got everything in there. But when you grow up and you're accustomed to that, that's like eating stinky fish. Now, I smell stinky fish, and I'm ready to go to the next town. But because you've grown up eating that, it seems normal to you. It is normal to you, and South meat is the same way for the South.
Oh, yeah. No. Listen, I totally understand that, because I also know down there in the South, you all eat the brains out of pigs and with eggs and shit. I don't know how y'all do that.
What is that?
Okay, delicious.
No.
Wait, what?
They eat pig brains, cow brains, and then just to make it as nasty as they can, they put it next to eggs. Like
you're not supposed to eat.
They scramble the brains with the eggs.
Yeah, you're right. You're not supposed to eat brains, because brain is fat, and that's where the bacteria gets into the meat the most. Yes. It's like, listen, if I had to eat it just to stay alive because there was no other option, yeah, maybe I could do that. But nah, I'm not doing it.
Okay, Raphael Williams says hog head is made out of just hot dogs. Hog's head. You mean hot
dogs are made out of just hog head?
Just like hot. Oh, they're made like. Okay, my bad. It says hog head is made just like hot dogs. Okay, my bad. I just misread it.
Yeah, because when you really think about it, like, see, one of the things about eating meat that a lot of people forget is if you eat a small amount of fresh meat that you just killed the animal and you just chopped it, that meat is extremely fibrous. When you eat that, you fill up quicker. And when it gets into your stomach, you stay fuller longer, and it takes a lot of energy to break it down. That's why a lot of people say, oh, yeah, well, you shouldn't eat beef because it sits in your body. No, it just takes longer to break down because it has so much fiber in it. But when you take meat and you grind it up, what you're doing is you're allowing yourself to eat a lot more of it than you normally would. So you're taking in more meat than you normally would, and you're not getting full because your body doesn't need time to process it because it's ground up. It's the same reason why if you drink a lot of juice, you're going to gain weight, because normally you would never sit down and eat 10 or 20 oranges because it would fill you up and you wouldn't be able to eat anymore. But if you drink orange juice, you're literally eating 10 or 20 oranges. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So that's the reason why first of all, this is the reason why all these foods that I point out, this is the reason why the black community is filled with pre-existing conditions, because we're eating food on a level that we're ignoring the serving sizes, and we're eating stuff that in and of itself, it's not unhealthy. The problem is the amount of it we're eating.
I think Dr. Sebius, have you guys heard? I think, is that how you pronounce his name? He said something that stuck with me. He said that Africans aren't, our normal diet is not what Americans, the American diet wasn't made for us. You know what I mean? I think he might have a point with that.
Well, if you're an African American, I would disagree. And the reason why is because for at least 2 or 3 generations, African Americans have eaten well, I mean, think about it like this. The people who came here to this country when the Native Americans were here, all of us, including the African slaves, we've only been here less than 500 years.
Right.
So you're talking about, let's say, less than 10 generations, right? We've been slowly adapting to what we've been eating. The problem is the hyper-processed food and the sugar.
No doubt.
And once you throw those things into the mix,
yeah, no doubt.
Because this is not like you're getting a George Foreman grill and you're just throwing a slab of chicken onto it and cooking it. And it's just like when I go to China, I lose weight no matter what I eat.
Yes.
Because the way they cook their food,
right.
There's no processing. There's almost no processing. They're getting a cow, chopping them up. They're getting a pig, chopping them up. They're getting whatever they get. They're chopping them up fresh, and they throwing them on the grill, and they're chopping them up, and they sauteing them with the soy sauce and this, that, and other. What they're not doing is creating sauce. They're not doing.
I remember the first time, like when I was living in Korea. I lived there, like I said, for a whole year, South Korea. And when I came back, I was shocked about how many fat people there were in America. I was like, I went to the airport and I was like, I never noticed how many fat people there are here. I'm like, because in Korea at the time, I think it's probably different now, but back then, like in the 90s, it wasn't that many fat people there. I mean, like everybody was thin. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? And the same thing with Japan. When I was in Japan, there was one 400-pound Japanese dude who was like 5'8", 5'7" or something like that. And he was getting stared at by everyone. People were pointing. It was kind of messed up, to be honest with you. And it was shocking, like to everyone around, like because they'd never seen a person that big. So wow, like yeah, you got a point there. Maybe it's because just the diet we eat, period, not.
America right now, America's striking back at Asia because America is shipping all that soda over there, and all of a sudden diabetes in Saudi Arabia is going up, diabetes in China is going up.
Yeah, Mexico.
It's because, and the sad thing about it is, you know exactly what's doing it, but in the name of the free market, you can't stop them.
Yeah, sad thing.
Because that was the one thing I noticed when I was at Jollibee in Philippines versus Jollibee here in Woodside. The difference was that we had all you could drink soda here, but not there. When you go to that Jollibee, they're making you pay, 50 pesos, whatever it is, for every single cup of that soda you're getting, or every single tea or whatever you're getting. You're paying every single serving size.
Get Social Butterfly says American food tastes good, but it's shit.
No, American food appeals to your senses for salt, sugar, and fat. But this shit is killing us. And it breaks my heart when I see these kids going into these stores before school and getting this bacon, egg, and cheese and one of these freaking 400-calorie Arizonas because it's cheap. Just because it's cheap.
It's cheaper than water, by the way. It's cheaper than water.
The only way you could solve this is if you charged people a penny per calorie.
They're trying to do something like that in California. Like they're trying to do things to disincentivize. Yeah, they're trying to do stuff that
California's had it in mind.
Well, I heard that they were trying to do that in when Bloomberg was in office. Like they tried to charge people more for sodas or something like that.
Bloomberg tried to reduce the amount of soda that you could drink. He tried to tax larger sodas, and then he also tried to reduce salt. And he made it so that most restaurants wouldn't add salt unless you asked for it, right? So the thing about it was, eventually they came to a conclusion. They were like, listen. Reducing the amount of salt in your diet can be dangerous because, your nerves need salt and everything. And also, based on how old you are, kids may need more salt and fat than adults do, especially if the adults have grown up with a problem. But the problem is, who can you trust? All of these people are paid for. All these are corporate paid sponsored ads. Who can you trust? You have to, at a certain point, you just have to say, you know what? This is logical. I have to stick with this because they're not looking out for me.
Yes.
You know? They're not
Yes.
looking out for me. I just went to Dairy Queen yesterday. And Dairy Queen, it's like if you get a meal with just one burger, fries, and a soda, you're looking at 2,000 calories right there. And you know, if you're one of these kids, you go get a milkshake or something. A milkshake may have like 1,000 calories by itself.
Yeah.
You know, it's just crazy. I've been trying to cut back on what I eat. I've been trying to do the gym. I've been trying to do my gallon of water a day and everything.
Yeah, same.
But let me tell you something. The amount, we're surrounded. We have no food shortage. You know, America's the only country in the world where you have to come up with a plan to lose weight.
You gotta come up with a plan to not eat. Wei Gukenwei says women are getting taller and thicker in Korea, but in a good way. I've been in Korea in a long time, so I wouldn't know. But
American diets, man.
Japan,
American diets.
Yeah, Japan, same thing. Like there's a difference. Yeah.
The American diet will kill you.
Eventually for sure. I mean, I hope that we could do something. I don't know if legislation is the right way. Maybe if legislation made it so that the companies have to be more forthcoming about the outcomes of drinking too much soda. Maybe that would be a decent choice for them to do instead of like taxing the shit out of sugar and fructose and stuff.
There's a picture I took in Thailand at the airport. And in this picture, I took it at the airport at one of the places where they sell cigarettes. And they have all these cigarettes there on the shelf. And right above them, they have a sign that says smoking kills.
How about the one where it has the people like all messed up on the package?
Oh yeah. Or the one where they have the guy who has the voice box. He's like, yes, I used to swim every day, and now I can't swim because there's a hole in my throat.
Yeah, it's freaking horrible. That is fucking horrible.
But let me tell you something. You know what I realized about people? They don't give a shit about counting calories. Most people don't understand what a calorie is. Like if you tell them, listen, in an entire day, you're only supposed to have like less than 2,000 calories or something like that. Maybe then they'd understand it a little bit better. But the problem is, it's like most of these meals, the individual meals, exceed 2,000 calories.
Wei Gukenwei says Japan has a tradition of eating KFC on Christmas for some reason. That's weird. I didn't know that. And Cannabis Music says American KFC is bottom tier. You don't like KFC, man?
KFC sucks.
That's un-American.
Popeyes blew them out of the damn water. Ever since KFC took the trans fats. Let me tell you something. Ever since KFC took trans fats out of their recipe, their food has been.
I didn't even know they did that.
They took it. There was a big. I don't know if it was Bloomberg that got that riled up, but around that time, every restaurant was basically forced into a trans fat ban. All of a sudden, McDonald's food tasted like cardboard. KFC's food tasted terrible. Just about everything tasted terrible. This was around, I'll say, 2010.
I'm not a huge fan of KFC. I think the Jollibee's chicken is better, to be honest with you. Wei Gukenwei says
KFC's has better presentation.
Chicken in Asia is usually better, and it doesn't have all the drugs shot into it. Korean fried chicken is the best KFC. Korean fried chicken. Oh, I didn't know. I've not tried the Korean KFC. Is that what you're talking about?
To tell you, I do love how Jollibee puts the little flag in if you ordered a hot chicken.
I like their chicken, man. The taste is really good. It's one of the best from a fast food chain that I've ever eaten. The spicy one is good.
Chicken. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the only chicken I think that I've tasted better than that is really Popeye's chicken sandwich chicken.
Yes, that is actually pretty good.
Chick-fil-A.
They had people killing each other over that sandwich, which was so stupid.
Yeah, well, you know what? When you really think about it, it probably was a bunch of gang members that met up at the same time under the same circumstances and they just decided to have a shootout there, and it
I
may or
don't
may
know.
not have been over the chicken sandwich. I don't know.
It wasn't that good. I mean, I had it. It was like it's all right, but I'm not gonna try to
You
shoot
didn't like
people.
the Popeyes chicken sandwich?
It was all right, but it's not worth shooting people over. I mean, you know what I
No,
mean?
nothing,
It's not worth stomping
nothing
somebody
I'll
else
say-
over.
I don't think anything is really worth shooting somebody over. I mean, I'm sure I could think of something that's worth shooting somebody over, but no. I mean, it was good. It was really good, but I liked it more than Chick-fil-A.
I mean, I had it. I'm like, this is what people are shooting each other over. I'm like, this is
But
not
here's the
that.
question. Did you have the spicy chicken sandwich?
It was good. I have to admit.
Did you have the spicy chicken sandwich?
I believe I did, and it was good. It was decent.
Oh,
It was
okay.
decent.
Because you make it sound like you haven't been there in a while.
Yeah, it's been like a few months. But what was it? What was the other one? Oh, you just said Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A is pretty good. I like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, see, Chick-fil-A's around here. It's not uncommon to see like 30 or 40 people lined up in their cars through the drive-thru
Yeah.
for Chick-fil-A right now.
Yeah.
And they try to serve you quicker by taking your order using like iPads, and then
Yes.
they have it waiting for you, and they try to get you to pay like immediately. But these lines are ridiculous
Man,
around here.
the one here that's big in Colorado is, I don't know why, and let me know if it's the same thing in you guys' states, but Dutch Brothers Coffee. Like
We
people,
don't have one of those.
man, people like line up. Are just rare. I don't see a line on Dutch Brothers. Like it's that, and it's really sugary. So that maybe that's why people go there so much.
Yeah, the sad thing is people get addicted to certain tastes.
Yes.
And it's just like Dunkin' Donuts has this matcha latte, and they're charging $5 for a large cup of matcha latte. And I was buying this stuff, and I loved it so much. What I did was I figured out how they made it, and then I went to Trader Joe's and I got the powder, and I started making it myself. And I use honey instead of sugar, or I use that agave instead of sugar.
Yeah.
Because Dunkin' Donuts will just put sugar and milk in there. I put milk and honey or something like that. And it still tastes great.
Wow.
But once you get addicted to one of these things, you're caught. Once you get addicted.
Man, I'm lucky because Yuri, like, she can taste something. Like, we'll be out eating something and she can like recreate it. I'm like, damn, that's a talent, man. If you can do that, you know, like I love that.
Well, I like Filipinas making that chicken adobo and all that stuff.
God, yeah.
Because a lot of the stuff that they cook, and at least the way they cook it, is just so much different than the way you eat here.
Yes.
Because they're used to grilling everything, or they're used to cooking on like propane
Yes.
pans and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that, especially if they're from a province. Like they know how to prepare stuff and they know how to cook it. My only problem with Filipinas is a lot of time they don't pay attention to the health and safety hazards that Americans do. Like they'll leave stuff uncovered, or they'll put certain things in a refrigerator that aren't supposed to go there, or they'll leave things out that aren't supposed to be there.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's my only thing.
Yeah, that does happen
I
quite
had
a
to
bit.
get
That
on
does happen
my
quite a bit.
girlfriend about that. I was like, "What are you trying to kill us?" I was like, "Yeah, you got to put this mayonnaise back." It's
Yeah,
like, what the hell are you doing? Oh yeah, what, are you trying to kill me?
Wei Gukin Ways says Sam's Club sells a frozen chicken sandwich that tastes like Chick-fil-A spicy chicken patty, but the bread sucks. What's it
Yeah,
called?
in order to get that bread, you have to have a brioche bun, and they paint it with like egg. Like they take the bun and then they take an egg and then they paint the egg onto the bun and everything, and then they have like a little bit of seasoning and everything. You're not getting that taste out of a frozen burger. You're just not getting it. If you can. Here's the bottom line of eating healthy: nothing gets frozen ever.
I freeze everything, man. I don't know what you talking about.
No, but you got to understand, when you freeze things, you're breaking down the proteins.
Yeah, I hear you.
You see what I'm saying? So and I'm not talking about you personally. Like if you go out and you get fresh meat and then you freeze it to preserve it, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that per se. But the thing about it is, these companies, when they freeze stuff, they usually have to use preservatives on it. And then the thing you have to worry about is what happens if this stuff defreezes and then they just try to sell it anyway. Because that happens with a lot of the chicken wings in the Chinese food restaurants here in the ghetto. And people eat it anyway because they're addicted to Chinese food. So like with the way this chicken comes is, you have like the Chinese food guys, they get these big truck shipments of chicken.
Right.
And If that stuff defrosts, you'll never know.
Now, Big Truck, when
and-
you were in China, would you
Yep.
say you've eaten authentic Chinese food? What is
Absolutely.
is the food different here? Is American Chinese food different from Chinese food in China?
In China.
What
First
part of
of
China
all,
were you in?
China,
Shanghai?
I was in Shanghai,
Okay.
Suzhou, Hangzhou, and Shanghai.
Okay.
I'll say it like this: they steam just about everything.
Okay.
When you eat that steamed beef, or you eat that steamed pork, or that steamed chicken, or whatever it is,
Yes.
that stuff goes right through your digestive system to the point where you feel like you always have a liquid shit, and
Oh my
it comes
gosh.
right out, and you're pissing out of your ass for months at a time. You're pissing at it like. I could almost count on one hand how many solid shits that I took in months of being there. That's number one. Number two, they don't use ketchup as much. They don't use a lot of ketchup with sugar. Number two, they eat a lot of meat. Number three, they always have white rice. If you want fried rice, you can get it. But whatever they make, it's being made right then and there. There's almost no preservatives whatsoever. You're not eating anything off the shelf.
Is it good?
Oh man, it's incredible. The taste is clear. It tastes the way it's supposed to taste.
Okay.
Now, when you come here to America, I've realized that if I want real Chinese food, I have to go to Lower Manhattan, and there's a couple of restaurants where they have real Chinese food made by Chinese people. But if you go to the regular Chinese food restaurants in the hood, these kids order the same stuff: fried chicken, French fries, fried rice. So everything is basically fried. They do not eat the steamed stuff.
Yeah.
They do not eat the stuff that has been lightly woked. They don't want any of that. Everything they eat is like fried, and that's the reason why the black community is screwed up when it comes to pre-existing conditions.
I know what you mean. And when I want authentic Chinese food, I go to Panda Express.
Panda Express?
Yes.
I don't think I've really been. I don't think I've been to the. And you know what really got me? I went out with a Chinese person, and we went to one of these all-you-can-eat buffets.
Yeah.
And he tried to get some of the soup, and he was like, "Oh man, I don't know how you can eat this. There's so much salt in it." And I was like, "I don't taste all that. I don't taste the salt." But when you live in China long enough and you come back to America, if you stay in Asia long enough, like I'm talking about like a year plus.
Yeah.
A lot of the smells, your nose will pick up. Like I got on a bus when I came back from China, and there was a girl eating ketchup on like French fries and chicken wings, and that smell of that ketchup was like an assault on my senses, like I'd never felt it before. It was like an assault on my senses.
I know what you mean. I noticed like the Japanese, like they don't put a lot of their flavor is very light on their food, like very, very light. And
they want you to taste the food.
It's a little bit too light for me, to be honest with you, but not my favorite.
If you're in America, chances are you're so used to eating unhealthy that when you go to a place where they actually eat healthy,
taste.
Like, oh wait,
taste doesn't mean unhealthy. I mean,
if they're putting enough seasoning into it where you can't actually taste the food, then chances are, yeah, it is.
I mean, Korean food is good, but it could be unhealthy. But I mean, Korean food is my favorite, and it has taste in it.
They're using natural peppers, though. They're using natural peppers, natural spice. Over here, they're using unnatural peppers, unnatural spices, and they're using so much of it that for the most part, you can't even really smell the food. Like you said something about smelling fish that smells fishy. When you smell fresh fish, you don't smell the fish at all. Like you don't smell fish at all. If you catch a fish right now and you put your nose up to the fish, you do not smell him. Once he dies, the proteins start breaking down. That's when you smell it.
Wei Gukenwei says, walking in Korea helped me a lot. You'll think twice about going to get a Big Mac when you have to walk half a mile to get it. But you can get it. You can get a lot. Yeah. I noticed like in Asia people walk a little bit more. Like here we just drive everywhere. I mean on the West Coast. I don't know how it is I mean things are close together in New York, right? But on the West Coast we drive everywhere, man. I mean everything's very far apart.
A lot of us are lazy. You got to understand, a lot of us are lazy. It's like if you're in Manhattan, yeah, you can take the train everywhere, but for the most part, walking is golden. And when you're in Asia, even when you're in the Philippines, the walk from my condo to the mall and back, you're talking about like a mile. You're literally, I mean, all together, when you put it all together, it's probably half a mile to get there if you put it all together, and then half a mile back.
Don't you guys have like a lot of mom and pop stores everywhere? You guys have those what are they called? Those
bodegas,
little bodegas. Yeah, the bodegas. Don't you have those like everywhere? I heard.
Oh yeah, they're right there to sell you everything that you could possibly need to get diabetes before you're 30. They sell the snack cakes that are 25 cents for 500 calories. They sell the alcohol, obviously. They sell the no frills juices and sodas that are 50 cents or $1. The cans of Arizona.
Right.
You know, it's like this. It's no wonder that like that's the real problem. That's the reason why we're so unhealthy. Like you don't have stuff like that in Africa. That's why the average African probably weighs about 100 pounds less than the average American.
Right. No doubt. They're way healthier. That's for sure.
Like even in the countries where they got a lot of food, they don't eat like this. And once you let these corporations get in there on you, you're going to start gaining weight.
Yeah, Europe has some really good food, and I think a lot of it is because we process everything. The bread, we process all of our carbs, and there's so many carbs here too. Like there's carbs everywhere. But their bread wasn't processed, so they're in Italy. I just noticed the food was so much better, like on a different level. I'm like, damn, why does this taste so much better than anything I've eaten in the U.S.? Like the meat, everything.
Let me tell you, there's no better an experience, because I know how to bake. There's no better an experience than having freshly baked bread coming out the oven or freshly cake baked right out the oven. And once that stuff sits around, it's just not the same as it was when it came out that oven. Like when you have that freshly baked, it doesn't even matter what kind of cake it is. When you have a freshly baked cake, it's just it's worlds better than it is. The smell of it, the taste of it, it's just everything. The texture of it, the fact it's still warm.
Yeah.
When you go to Italy and you go to a European country, they're really into doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's why they look down on Americans. It's like when they come here.
I mean, the food, they look down for sure. Germany. I was in Germany eating there. I'm like, damn, this food is so much better. Their beer is so much better. Like everything I consumed there was better. Like, why is it so much better than the U.S.? And yeah, you're right. Maybe it's because we process everything. And another thing I would say is probably the Food and Drug Administration and all those are kind of on the take for just approving everything that goes through as far as preservative and flavoring and
the Food and Drug
the marketing
Administration
is really good.
The Food and Drug Administration is just there to claim that this stuff is not toxic in any way and that it's safe to eat. What they're not doing is telling you how much of it you're not supposed to be eating.
Yeah.
You know, because we have the freedom to eat whatever we want. Another thing about China, they eat a lot of or they drink a lot of soy milk. Like when I would go with my Chinese girlfriend, we had breakfast in the school cafeteria. Soy milk. They had these little packets of soy milk, and you would drink soy hot chocolate, or you drink soy chocolate milk, or you drink soy regular milk. And I would watch how she would eat and the things she would eat. They aim more towards fish, and they aim more towards, the freshest meat that they can get. But they do snack a lot. Like they eat a lot of hot dogs on sticks, and even in the Philippines, you notice there's food everywhere.
Yeah,
and they eat a lot of food.
The food
but
trucks
because of
and
the
stuff.
fact that most of them are doing
Food
so much
stands.
manual labor and walking around, and they're doing so much manual labor, they, for the most part, don't start gaining weight until either they've had a kid or until a little bit later, and then they blow up like balloons.
Yeah, I mean, it's like here, there's a huge. We don't realize how good we have it here. Like there's a sedentary lifestyle that you can easily get yourself into. Like myself, like I work from home. I don't have to move like a lot at all. You know what I mean? So yeah,
it's amazing how good we've got it. Too bad it's killing us.
It is. Yeah, that it is. But you got to take it.
You
You got to take an extra effort to get yourself healthy here. You got to watch you got to be conscious about what you eat. conscious about how often you walk around, conscious about your exercise, all that stuff, So that's true. Last Samurai says, uh-oh, here we go again. I don't want to talk about this. He says, Trump is crazy, but has brought some fun and amusement into politics. In the news, Trump demands that Biden take a drug test before the debates, offers to do the same. I do have to admit it's been entertaining, but it's to the point where it's starting to kill people. So I'm like, nah, he gotta go.
Yeah, exactly. we're not supposed to have freaking entertainment on fucking politics.
It's not supposed to be fun, bro. Last Samurai is not supposed to be funny. Exact. It's not supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be on C-SPAN. You're supposed to ignore it and be like, nah, it's too boring. You're supposed to watch 3 seconds of it and turn it. It's not. I watch his rallies. It's hilarious. It is hilarious.
It's hilarious.
It makes me mad. It's like watching a reality show. It's like I'm watching a bunch of characters on a magnificent reality show.
No, you know what it's like? It's like watching somebody doing stand-up comedians.
It is.
It's like watching a stand-up comedian.
He's
like
good.
I could do his whole goddamn show. Like he's up there talking about how Biden can't last standing there 2 hours and everything. The thing about it is I could stand there and I could do his exact same rally speech for as long as he does it. I could do it because I already understand that all I have to do is not take this shit seriously at all and just stand up there and throw darts at people. Like I just stand there and go, oh yes, well the Democrats said if I tried to give us a new Supreme Court justice, they're going to impeach me. They're going to impeach. And then they get the crowd with their clapping and their roaring applause and shit. It's like anybody could do that if you don't take it seriously, but that's not how I want my government to be run.
The guy's hilarious. For sure. I will miss the entertainment. I will miss that.
What do you think? If he loses, you think he's going away? Shit.
I mean,
if that man loses, oh my god, what are you kidding? If he loses, he'll be talking shit every day.
Because I have to admit, I did not watch all of Obama's rallies. I didn't watch all of his. The dude can speak. The guy's magnificent. Like he's so inspirational.
But the problem is Obama had to be first of all, as a black, like they tell black people, you have to do everything 10 times better. But Obama went up there to say, yeah, I'm the perfect black president. I have to be 100% accurate on everything.
I think
he's basic. That's what they tell you.
He was also a brilliant guy, though. He was magna cum laude in Harvard. He was the editor of the Harvard Review. Like he's a writer. Like he was a perfect. So he writes his own speeches. He's
the perfect black guy.
He's one of the best speakers that we've had as a president. I'm not trying to like the guy's. He's a really good communicator. Like on every level, writing, speaking, like he's really good.
But here's the problem: they'll say the same thing about Trump, though. They'll say, as far as when it goes to communications, he's the best communicator. The same thing can apply to either one of them.
No, if you take
no. Well, there's a difference between. Hold on. All I'm saying is the word that you're looking for is being a master orator. Trump is a master orator, and so is Obama. They're both master orators for their people.
Have you ever taken part of his speech and read it? Like, if you read the it doesn't even make sense. Like when you're reading
it does if you're listening to it.
But he's like a stand-up comedian. He's like a stand-up comedian. He's just like he's good on his feet. He can come up. He was hilarious. Go ahead.
If you take the average rapper's rap song, like from Wu-Tang or Onyx or something, and you read that shit out word for word, it don't make sense either.
It depends on the lyricist. Like some of it is really Jizza. If you read his, is brilliant. Like some of them are really good, but you're right. Some of it don't make no sense. Little Pump don't make no sense. The mumble rappers Migos makes no sense. I hear you. He's got a rhythm. He's got a cadence. He keeps you. He keeps you engaged. Like I gotta admit, like I said, you have a point. I watch more of his speeches than I have of Obama's.
And you got to remember,
So-
what is YouTube? What is YouTube's clicks and views all about? It's about audience engagement. When
Right.
you're a master orator and you keep people standing there and listening for hours upon end, that pays the bills.
I wouldn't say he's a master orator. I would say he's
a master orator.
I would say he's really good at entertaining. He's a good entertainer. I would not say he was a master orator. Because can he articulate a master orator can articulate a policy and why you should. He can break down what the policy, a boring ass policy, and then explain to you the gist of what is in it, and then convince you to actually buy in on it. That's a master orator. But he's
convinced these people we were going to build a wall that was 6,000 miles long. How much more do you need?
So you have to convince the other side, though. You have to convince the other side, not just people who agree with everything you say.
No, but you know what? See, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. Because of executive orders and because of how the system itself works, I don't have to convince everybody to go along with me. All I have to do is legally do what I'm allowed to do without getting impeached, and I can do anything I want. If I say right now, I had to kill such and such a person because he was gonna betray us to China and he was a national security threat and this, that, and the other. Yeah, I'm sure, like, Osama bin Laden, fucking Obama killed this motherfucker and didn't even show you the body. Like, he said he took the body and flushed it down the ocean, just like the cocaine in Goodfellas. Like, Karen, we needed that cocaine. Wait a minute. Do you understand right now, there's people who are still searching for Hitler's body right now. You just took the number 2 most wanted man in the history of the world, killed him, and then refused to show us the evidence, refused to show us the body. How do you get away with that shit?
He's a master orator.
Exactly. So, yes. No, Obama would have simply said, well, in order to make sure, like, all I had to say was, for national security and to make sure that there wasn't more terrorism behind this, we took the body and disposed of it. But guess what? You just killed somebody. You didn't bring him to justice. You killed this guy. We need to see that, but that's evidence. Nobody is fucking... You know what's funny? I knew that these media people were in on that shit. Hannity was calling him out on that, and all of a sudden Hannity just went silent. I was like, wait a minute. These guys are in on this shit. Because if Fox News brought this shit up, you know what Fox News, and then I heard Hannity say, you know what? If we looked at the body and the bullet holes are in certain places, it means that the Marines who shot him could be brought up on charges. Because you got to understand, we snuck into another country, Pakistan, using stealth helicopters that the public was told didn't exist. And then we landed in helicopters, went in there, murdered this guy and other people in there, and didn't even show you the body.
Hey, listen, I can't.
What would you say? What would you say as a black man if the cops, after they killed Breonna Taylor, they were like, "Yeah, well, we didn't want to make black people angry, so we took the body and we fucking burned it."
If Breonna Taylor killed 3,000 people, Taylor killed 3,000 people and said, "Hey, I'm working on another one. I'm working on my next hit." Then I'd have a completely different feeling about Breonna Taylor. Come on, man.
Saddam Hussein,
that's not a good.
But no. That dead body. No. Here's the thing. The law is supposed to work the same way every time. If you remember, what was it? Where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? You're supposed to have the loot, the warrant, and the crook. Now, if you killed him, fine. Where's the body? Because by not showing us a body, now you got all the conspiracy theories. Oh, shit, they didn't really kill him. You know, and then on top of that, you got all these people who are like, well, wait a minute. Wait. You're saying the guy's dead. But
people are going to have conspiracy theories no matter what. When Trump loses, when Trump is out of office, you think that they're not going to come up with every excuse but he's already setting it all up. So
he's setting it
people up. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Bruce, everyone's going to believe.
The Democrats are setting up just as much as Trump is setting up.
What? How you figure? What do you mean?
You know how they figure? Because think about the mail-in ballot process, right? You know what happens if the day after Election Day there isn't a clear winner because we're still waiting for ballots to be counted? Do you know what happens then?
Nancy Pelosi becomes president.
the right wing right now.
I don't know if
is
they know
trying to
that or
scare
not. I don't know if they know that.
A lot of people don't know it, but they're trying to say that Nancy Pelosi is setting up a coup in order to coup this guy out of the presidency, and then the whole left wing believes that Trump is going to cheat us all out of the election anyway, and that he's going to remain president. That's a dangerous situation. This is why I'm saying the law has to work the same way every time. It has to be impartial. Because just as I'm saying, and I'm not using this to knock Obama, but I'm just saying the public should have said, no, listen, we need to see a body, because that's part of the national record. Even Saddam Hussein, he was brought to trial, put out in front of everybody, and then he was executed later. He was hung. My thing is the law has to work the same way every time, because otherwise you get into a situation just like this election where nobody's going to believe the results. That's dangerous for the country.
I got to
That's
say,
civil war shit.
Listen,
that's dangerous.
I'm not sad about the dude dying. I don't care if there was pictures of it or not.
I'm glad that they killed him. And I want to see the body.
And
that's
all the people and all the people who was in the building, they knew what was up. And I'm not saying that I'm okay with little, whoever was in there getting killed. But listen, you know what's up. You know the deal. You know what I mean?
Listen,
if you're
so
harboring I'm glad they went into another country without notice. I'm glad everything they did was like, listen, the dude's got to go.
Understand something. When you start breaking how the fuck does a country stand there and say we're a nation of laws, but then at the drop of the hat, they show you that, we're willing to break them all just to get what we want to get done. Listen, I'm totally glad they killed Osama bin Laden. My bottom line is I want to see the body. It's closure for me. I used to work in the World Trade Center up till 9/1/11. I was there up until I had to go back to school because I was an intern at the World Trade Center.
How far do you live? How far away?
I live in Queens, and I take the train into there, and I've gotten out at the Twin Towers, where Cortlandt Street, that's what it was. I've gotten out right there at the Cortlandt Street exit and walked through that mall. Right. Now, the mall wasn't much to look at. The Port Authority hub wasn't much to look at, but you never thought much of it. Mm-hmm. I could have been killed that day. Damn. My thing is, I want the closure of seeing his dead body. That's what I demand.
Let me ask you this. Do you think they don't have pictures and video of it?
So show me the goddamn photos. Show me the video.
Yeah, but I'm saying, do you think that they didn't take pictures, and do you think they don't have video of it? You think they don't have it?
Listen, if they had his body and what
I'll take that as a yes.
happened. No, I believe that they have.
I'll take that as
a
yes.
All I'm saying is show it to me. If I was sitting in a court, you'd show me the evidence. If somebody gets killed, you're going to show me the evidence, right?
I don't think that this is here's my personal view about it. I don't think that this was a judicial issue. I think that this was a national security issue.
You're saying it wasn't a trial.
I'm not saying.
I'm saying it wasn't a trial.
Listen. I'm totally against the Patriot Act and all the extra power that the U.S. government has taken in the name of national security. But Osama bin Laden was really a special kid. This is really about a war, and it was really about national security for real. Like, the dude had to go. You know what I mean?
I understand.
I mean, listen, I'm not a pacifist. I'm not a pacifist. You know what I mean?
But I want the body.
Some people gotta go. I don't agree with taking out leaders of other countries or anything like that. But this dude right here, this dude had to go, with or without pictures or video of the body. And I know that they have it. You know that they had pictures. You know they were watching a live feed of it from the White House.
That's all I'm asking is that you show me.
People don't need to see it. People don't need to see it.
I'm a taxpayer. Listen, I'm a taxpayer. They are government workers. And as far as I'm concerned, me paying taxes earns me the right to see it if I want to see it.
Some other guy here agrees with you. Masada says
Hey,
Masada says he agrees with you.
Look at the picture I just said.
Trump is not your regular, simple, slimy politician, but a street type guy whom they can identify with, despite being a millionaire somehow. I agree. I think politicians are too slimy and hypocritical for the most part. Okay, let me see this picture here.
Oh, the politicians are horrible, man. They're horrible.
Hands up if you kill less Americans than Donald Trump. Damn. That's dark, man. That's dark.
That's messed up. No, but that's all I'm saying. It's like, listen, if you're gonna kill terrorists, that's fine by me. My only thing is, do it the way that we've set up for you to do it legally. Don't go and do shit illegally. Like, you remember that whole thing about rendition? Rendition, you know that they shouldn't have been doing that. Rendition is when you kidnap a terrorist and you bring them to another country in order to avoid. Yeah, but
when they're taking people to
my thing is,
Cuba and stuff.
There's no reason. Yeah, there's no reason why. But see, you know where that goes? That whole Patriot Act. Now they're talking about Antifa and Black Lives Matter, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you should label them as terrorists so you can deport them to Cuba and shit." It's like, this is the reason why we have to stick to our laws, and we cannot allow government overreach. The Patriot Act should not exist. But when you scare enough people into thinking that they need it, they give up their freedoms right away. And my thing is, if you do enough of that, eventually you have no freedom left.
Masada said, "Bruce, I do not agree with this guy." I'm sorry, man. Your messages are disappearing for some reason. I don't know what's going on with that.
Masada
MPC.
Well, listen,
Left says
he has every right to disagree. I'm a taxpayer though, so if he says so.
Left all around says, "You should work at the morgue if you want to see death." LOL. Bruce, I don't desire to see a dead body. I do not. I have no desire to see a dead body. Okay, I hear you.
Then you don't have to see it. There's nobody forcing you to see it.
What is your deal with? What is your obsession with doing this, man? I don't understand why you have to see this body.
I need the closure. I need the closure to be like, you know what? You fucked us over, and now you got a bullet in the head. I need to see it just to make sure it's real.
I think the pictures exist. I'll put it to you that way.
I want to see them. I want to see them, and they're probably.
I have it on good authority.
They're in Area 51 next to the spaceship, right?
Oh
they're
my
in Area
God!
51
Oh
next
my!
to the
Come
spaceship.
on, man!
Is that where they are? Is that where they are? I want to see them.
All right, hey guys, I'm about to cut this one. We've been going for 2 hours. I could either leave this up and people can jump on this, or I can cut it.
You can leave it on, but I'm probably going to get off. It's just your voice chat. The channel is still there regardless. Like if you cut off the YouTube, we're all just disappearing. However, your channel on Discord is still running. So anybody who jumps on that,
absolutely.
But they're all gone though. They're all gone. So nobody else is saying nothing. So I'll jump up to.
Yeah, people are talking on the chat here. There's like 11 people watching this. But I'm about to get off, guys. I gotta go eat. It's been great talking to you, Big Truck. Appreciate you, man. Every week, I appreciate that. Hey, and if you guys didn't know,
Bruce, you never showed us the food that Yuri made up there. You never showed us the food from last.
It's on Instagram. If you guys want to see that food on Instagram, go ahead and go to yuribruce team and go check out our Instagram stuff. We got food on there, more personal kind of things like where we go and stuff week after week. But here is Big Truck Series Review Motorsports channel right here. If you guys are interested, he's got great information, great conversation over there. Big time YouTuber. Check him out. And we are out of here for this week. Thanks a lot. Thanks, Wei Gook and Wei. Thanks, Mr. Mike T. Man. Thanks, everybody who appeared on here. Appreciate you guys. I'm out of here. Peace.